Palestine! Free Palestine!
We're here outside Woolwich Crown Court today for the trial of Liam Og O'Hannah, aka Mo Chara from the band Kneecap. He's up on terrorism charges for allegedly holding a flag of a proscribed terrorist organisation. The event happened in November 2024. There's controversies around whether it will stick in court because it was actually raised just a day over 6 months, which means that it could be thrown out of court today. It's a very busy day here today. As you can see behind me, there are many people, media. There's also many people waiting to get into the court for the trial. And as you can probably see behind me, there are many stewards as well. The band arrived just a few minutes ago, were swarmed by media, protesters and supporters alike. There was a protest happening outside the gates, but that was moved by the police to a hill just behind us here. Even though there was a last-minute change of court, it was supposed to be at Westminster Magistrates Court. The last-minute change last night did not result in any less support than the band are used to.
The British establishment will remember that we were here on Kneecap Hill today.
And point where Kneecap Hill is, where is it?
Kneecap Hill is that little mound over there. We named that this morning when we first got here. We staked the claim to that. I've got some volunteers to cut the grass there next week. It's our hill.
We were city when they came to town. They called it the summer alone. Burning babies, burning flags, the hawks against the dawn. I took a job at a steamy way down in Keltron Street, where I fell in love with a lonely girl that was working next door. Brown hair's exact across her face and a look of half surprise, like a fox caught in a headlight that was animal in her eye. She said to me, "Can you see I'm not the factory kind? You don't take me out of here, I'll lose my mind." But she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, yeah, so fine up at the wind might blow her away. She was a last child, oh, she was running wild. She said, "So long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way."
Kneecap are one of the few popular artists who are using their position. They speak out fearlessly. They speak out in solidarity with Palestine. They speak out in favour of Irish unity and against the Palestinian occupation. So since then, since touring America, Kneecap have been repressed, been under attack by the US and British and other governments because of their message, precisely because they speak out in solidarity with Palestine. Young people go to their concerts, and many of the young people, this is the first time they've been exposed to a message like this, and they're taking it on board and coming away as Palestine supporters.
We stand firstly in solidarity with Liam, with Mo Chara, but we also, I think, extend that solidarity out to every single artist, every single individual, every single person with a platform or doing their bit, who will stand up against the genocide, who will use their platform to call out the genocide and the war crimes that we have seen unfold before us in Palestine. That solidarity, that strength, for me, is only getting stronger, and this morning is another good example of that. We see double standards as much as we see solidarity, because the double standards in bringing somebody like Liam to court, whilst war criminals and genocide enablers are embraced by Western governments. We saw an example of that in London within the past number of weeks. We have seen those who should be before not Woolwich Magistrates Court or Westminster Magistrates Court, people who should be before the Hague for international war crimes. Those are the people that should be before the courts. Those are the people that should be subject to investigation. Those are the people who should have to defend their actions before a court, and certainly not Liam. Earlier this week, I was in Canada, and that is yet another government in a long line that have shamefully and dishonestly banned Kneecap, spouting false reasons to temporarily halt their ability to speak to the huge fan base there. Shame. But one thing, shame is right, for shame on them. But one thing is true. Everywhere I went, I saw Kneecap jerseys. I saw support for Kneecap increasing. I saw kefias, I saw support for the Palestinian people. I saw people who'd never heard of Kneecap, if you can even believe such a person exists. I saw those people saying, I want to see Kneecap when they do come to Canada. So it's counterproductive. As we know, censorship of artists, censorship of those who try to use their platforms and do so bravely is counterproductive and will not succeed. And I saw that with my own eyes this week in Canada. We see it here in London today, and we will see it everywhere we go with our message.
As John has said, we stand here in solidarity with Liam O'Haney. We stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza. And I am proud to represent the people of West Belfast, the constituency where Liam Og comes from, because the people in my constituency send a very, very clear message today. They say that the charges against Mo Chara should be dropped, and dropped today, because they know, and they know only too well, the reason why Liam is brought up in front of a court is because of a censorship issue. And censorship didn't work in Ireland in the past, and it's certainly not going to work now again here in Britain or anywhere else for that matter, because the message is too loud and the message is too proud. We all stand together with the people of Gaza. We call out where we see injustices. Injustices in Gaza and the West Bank are wrong, and we need to stand together until that stops. It is quite clear that Liam should not be in front of a court. The people who should be in front of a court is Benjamin Netanyahu and his cohorts in the Israeli government, because what they are doing, they are committing genocide on the people of Gaza, and we say that is wrong. You have no call for that. You need to be in front of the Hague. That's where you belong, because the people of this world will hear the message when you are in front of it, because one day, make sure, Benjamin, you will be in front of that Hague, and the world will know the atrocities that you have committed on the people of Gaza. So let us send a clear message today and every single day that we're on platforms like this: free Mo Chara and free Palestine.
Kneecap really kind of set the agenda. Them boys have been around. I think they were formed in 2017. They were speaking out for Palestine then. Now, Palestine wasn't as much in the press as it is these days, but them boys have been speaking out from an early age. But they have a platform. And anybody that has a platform, there's any bit of social justice within them, should use that platform. Now, some people don't use it for whatever reason, where they're afraid of losing their job, and that is a possibility too, or they're afraid for their family, whatever. But if you speak the truth, and that's what Kneecap do, you speak the truth, you need not fear anybody, because the truth is really what matters.
Is that us?
Mo Chara is a free man. This was always a political persecution masquerading as a prosecution.
It was always about Gaza. about what happens if you dare to speak up. As people from Ireland, we know oppression, colonialism, famine and genocide. We have suffered and still suffer under your empire. Your attempts to silence us have failed because we're right and you're wrong. We said we would fight you in your court and we would win. Today we have. If anyone on this planet is guilty of terrorism, it's the British state. Free Palestine.
In May, when this all happened, we said it was a carnival of distraction. It was. We said it was political policing. It was. We said it was an orchestrated smokescreen, and it was. Kneecap was never the story. Gaza was, and sadly still is. The real tragedy of today isn't that the British political establishment drove the smear campaign at the direction of Zionists. It isn't that hundreds of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money was wasted. It isn't that Liam Oak suffered outrageous slander against his character for speaking out against genocide. It isn't that time in this country's parliament was spent speaking about Kneecap when the government here fails the working class in arms of genocide. The real tragedy is that you, the media, played along to the game. There was thousands of column inches, hundreds of hours of news footage that was about Kneecap and wasn't about Gaza. Yesterday, 87 people were murdered in Gaza, among them entire families, young kids, murdered alongside their parents. And it's that settler colony that this state supports, murdered simply because they were Palestinians. Kneecap is on the right side of history, and once again, Britain is not. Free Palestine.
I'm elated, I'm delighted, because we've had many bad days as an Irishman. I've seen plenty of bad days in the past when we've come up against the British establishment on terrorism charges. A lot of Irish people locked up in this city that were innocent, Birmingham 6, the Guildford 4, the Maguire family and several more. And to get a result against the system for young Mo Chara gives everybody hope that if people continue to march, go on vigils, build a movement, stand together, there is nothing like people power. People power is much stronger than atomic power. Plenty of people stick together, and it will give hope to a lot of these groups. There must be a couple of thousand people awaiting to go to trial in this country for various terrorism charges, whether you belong to Palestinian Action or whether you're walking on the streets and you were in the wrong place and you got arrested for not going in under a pen, which would be within section 14. So it must give those people hope.
There will never be a situation where Kneecap would get their day in court to explain about who is the terrorism and deal with the terrorist charges. Because the government to look foolish enough ever since they first made these investigations, and they're making themselves a laughing stock. And you know, so for the government, this was the sensible thing to do. Stop it before it got any worse. But for Kneecap, I mean, you saw the Kneecap lads in the band and their supporters. They're ready to take on anybody. As they correctly say, this isn't about them. It's about Palestine. It's about Gaza. This is just a distraction.
You've come all the way from Marseille. Can you tell us why you've come all that way?
Well, first of all, I'm a Kneecap fan. And I'm Irish, but I've lived in France for 40 years. And I was asked to speak at today's rally to support Mo Chara about what's happening in Marseille. Particularly in my union, the CGT, the dockers have blocked arms going to Israel, but they've linked up with the dockers in Genoa and in Piraeus and in Barcelona and in Tangiers to stop shipments of weapons to Israel. On Monday, I was invited by the USB Union in Genoa to come and speak during their one-day general strike for Gaza against the genocide and to support the flotilla, because they have union members on the flotilla. But also my union, the CGT, we have members on the flotilla too. And our message is, if Israel attacks the flotilla, we will, the dockers in Genoa and the trade union in Genoa, the USB union, will organise a general strike and shut down all the ports. And they're calling on workers all over the Mediterranean and all over Europe to take similar action.
And why do you think unions haven't mobilised in Ireland. You know, you're a fellow Dub. I'm from Dublin as well. Why do you?
Dub, yeah,
I'm a bleeding Dub. You know, why haven't we mobilised?
The union leaders are either they're too fucking lazy to do anything. It's kind of, oh Jesus, I don't want any more work. I want to go home at 5 o'clock and beat the rush hour type of thing. It's true. It's unfortunate. Some of them are paid like 150 grand a year, so they're totally divorced from what working class people actually have to face. And some of them are just like have no idea how to organise anything besides a conference with the bosses and work out a sweetheart deal. Is it possible? Yes. The workers showed that on Monday, and they shut the country down. They shook the government to its core. They did. Nobody was expecting such a success. It was young people from the universities and the schools closed the schools down, came out and strike as well. So that's the message I came over today, is trade union action. Now for people in England, I know it's not. It's the same thing in France. The trade union leaders aren't doing anything. They might say it's condemn what's happening, but they're not actually doing. But we didn't wait for our union leaders to take action either. It's rank and file. It's all rank and file, shop stewards, local branches, local trades councils, all getting together and fucking saying we're taking action. We don't care what the bureaucrats say, the leaders say, we're going for it, yeah? So that was that's the message I have here. Now the good thing is Unite, the union, have a national policy now whereby any of their members, branches or in the workplace, take workplace action against the genocide, against Israeli economic interests, they'll back them up. Mm-hmm. And that's an invitation for people in Unite to take action. But also, if you're not a member of a union, join the Unite and take action through that. The union will back you up.
I'm passing through London at the moment. I'm hitchhiking from West Meath in Ireland to the West Bank in Palestine. It's in the PCRF, the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and I'm trying to join as many events and demonstrations as I can at the moment here in London to show solidarity. And yeah, I'd love if you could follow along on my socials. You'll find me on Instagram, westmeath_to_west_bank. Please donate if you can. Thanks very much, and Free Palestine.
So there we have it, a triumph for Liam Óg O'Haney, Mo Chara from the band Kneecap. The case was thrown out on a technicality. This is not the first time that Kneecap have successfully overcome a court case from the British establishment. They also won a case just a couple of years ago. So what does this mean for freedom of expression, artistic licensing and freedom of expression? Well, what Mo Chara has shown us is that you can, as an artist, use your voice and speak up and speak the truth when a nation is being oppressed and a genocide is happening.